looks crazy right now. I'm probably gonna have to wash it before we start today's actual activities. But the parents are coming in town today, so I figured I could do a little vlog spending the day with them and whatnot. We're gonna be doing some things that I feel like I used to do a lot over here on this channel, but it's been a while since I've done it because I just haven't really felt a need. But I think we're gonna do them today. I am dressed and ready to go. My parents are here, so they are waiting on me. I kept it pretty simple today because it's quite warm. I was gonna do like a little layering tank thing, but honestly, I just think it's way too hot for that. So we just got on this little white tank. I have on some little chunky bracelets, and look what I brought out. I have not worn this bag in ages, but I just felt like it needed a little bit of love. So wearing that one today, have my silver rings on. And these are the pants that I just got like, I want to say a week ago. They are from Pixie Market and they are so cute. They are like perfectly baggy and tailored looking. Let me get closer so you can see like the details of them. They have these little buttons where you can kind of adjust to your waist size, but I just wore them as they arrived, but they're the perfect color. We're getting ready to go to a vintage market. If you live in Atlanta, it's called Scott's Antique Market. So you may know about it. I may have taken you guys before. I don't know, but if I did, I wasn't very thorough. So I'm gonna try to be, and we're gonna go to another spot too. That is so gorgeous. What would you do with it? My hair is looking quite slick. It is back there. I'm already aware my forehead is, it's fine. Very chic, but I'm so excited. So excited. Like, it may not look like it, but hard to contain myself right now because we are doing something exciting today. Honestly, something that I didn't see myself doing for another like 3 years. Sad to say, but in this economy, yeah, to be quite honest, I really wasn't sure if I even wanted to like share the journey because I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm kind of a private person. Like, obviously I vlog my life, but I feel like I have a very clear path of what I talk about on social media and then what I just keep for myself. But then I was like, this journey could be fun, it could be interesting, it could be helpful, and something for me to look back on, and also it could help me kind of documenting this journey. But we are actually going shopping for our first home today. So it's not urgent because we have a little while longer in our leases, and we have been renting for the last few years, but we rent separately. And I was just sitting there calculating how much we both have spent on rent over the past few years, and I was like, that is a lot of money. Just me alone, I don't even want to say how much money I have spent. Like between renting a high rise in Chicago and renting in Midtown Atlanta, girl, the number is atrocious. It's ugly. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do until you can do what you can do, and that's what we're getting ready to do. So we went and met with a realtor, we met with a loan officer, and it turns out we can go ahead and get our first home. Now, I know to some people we're doing stuff like a little backwards. Like, trust me, I come from a like Southern Christian upbringing family. So trust me when I say, look, I'm surprised my family didn't cut up. Okay, and I normally don't talk about things like that. I feel like my family didn't really make a fuss about it because honestly, have you seen the economy? Like, me and my boyfriend have this ongoing joke about like how you used to be able to get like a 3-story house with like a lake next to it with like $5,000 and a firm handshake, and that's just not the case anymore. The prices are absolutely insane, especially with us living in Atlanta. Girl, it's not cute, okay? Not only will we be sort of in a way saving money doing this, but we also plan to own multiple properties over our lifespan. So the type of home that we are looking for, the main focus is a townhome because we feel that it would be better for renting purposes, like without the responsibility of like, you know, what homes often come with. But we also will be looking at regular homes as well, because personally that's my preference. That very well might just mean me not being able to get like that colonial home with the windows all up and through. Okay, that's okay, because guess what, the next house, that probably will be the house where whatever I want I'm getting, which even with this one, it's pretty much whatever I want. It's just the type of house we are likely going to lean toward will not be like my ideal house, but we're not looking for our forever home right now. I'm only 27. We even have possible plans of like maybe traveling out the country a lot. So yeah, forever home is just not on the brain right now. We're kind of just getting out there and establishing ourselves and like getting stuff together for like our future family is important to us right now. So that's what we're doing today. We're getting ready to go look at some homes. If it's not obvious already on this channel, I'm a lover of old things. In starting this home journey, we just started like looking like on Zillow and you know all that, but I am seeing so many houses with the, I think some lady called it the landlord special, where all the floors are gray, all the cabinets are gray, everything's modern, the ceilings don't have like any points to them or depth, like no molding on the walls, it's just bread box, like kind of like my apartment, okay, but worse actually. And it's just not my personal preference, okay? That's not what I'm going for at all. I just wanted to kind of announce the very exciting news. I never thought this was going to be possible so soon. Look, if you live in America, you know. I low-key tried to dress like a little bit sophisticated, also comfortable, because my cycle's supposed to start today. And as I've mentioned on this channel before, they're terrible. So I want to look really cute, but really comfortable. But I feel like I look kind of grown. I mean, we're showing a little bit of belly button, but it's giving she's going to look for a home. Okay, so yeah, I'm wearing this little white frilly top and then my little Line by K black skirt. It has such good flow. I talked about it in my best recent purchases video. The rings that I always wear and my little Coach bag. She looks really cute with this outfit. I'm living the slick back. And it's gonna be hot today, so it's gonna be out the way so I can focus. Can you tell I'm excited? I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Okay. officially went house hunting for the first time, I kind of wanted to sit down really quickly and chat with you while things are fresher on my mind because I do forget easily, but luckily I got tons of footage of all of the houses. So I want to say we saw about 5 houses, which, you know, we were running through them. I don't think I could have done that on my own. I think my realtor is just like really organized. He's really good at getting a hold of like the sellers and things like that. So he literally scraped all of this together. So what we're trying to prioritize this go round is something that's not too big because we have not started a family yet or anything like that. And something we will be able to easily rent out in the future. Like, we are trying to pass homes down to future kids, you know? So that's what we're trying to keep in mind with this one. So location is everything. As much as I would love to live out in the middle of nowhere and have all the country roads and all the land and the big, pretty, beautiful house, because the further you live out, the more bang for your buck you can get. It's just not smart for us to do that the first time around, because you know that's so me. That is very me. I feel like if people hear me say I want a house, they imagine a house with like a ton of character, maybe a bit of a fixer-upper, and lots of land for me to frolic around. And yeah, that is what I want. I'm gonna do it for my future children. I'll forego my cows for a little while, at least. I'm just kidding. I don't think I want cows, but chickens, possibly. So with that being said, we are looking for 3 bedrooms minimum. 4 bedrooms would be ideal because we would love to have a guest room, but if it just comes down to we're not getting 4 bedrooms, then it's not an essential. We also are looking at single family homes and townhomes. We want a little bit of yard, mostly me. I'm the one who wants a yard, obviously, because I like to be outside. Right now I have a balcony. I want to, you know, experience having a yard. It doesn't have to be ginormous, I just need a yard. And I don't like an open concept floor plan. I like the rooms to feel kind of divided. It doesn't have to be like every room has its own room, but I don't want to feel like my kitchen and my living room is literally the same room. And I feel like I've been seeing that so much when looking for a home. And it'll be really nice homes, and then I'm like, so behind my couch is my kitchen counter? I don't want that. Not for my style. Lots of windows, of course. I need lighting, number 1 for my mental, number 2, obviously for my job. Natural lighting is very important. If you can't tell, I feel like a lot of these aspects are mainly the things that I want. I think his only preference is he would prefer like not a huge yard so he doesn't have to cut a ton of grass. And his preference is a townhome, but he's not against a single family home. And he wants his own, he doesn't care what I do with the rest of the house. He just wants a single room that he can do whatever he wants to, like his little man cave, because that's what he has right now. So with that being said, these are the houses that we went to go see. So for house number 1, it was a single family home. As soon as I walked in, I saw a lot of windows, which made me excited. It had a nice dining room, and what we especially loved about it was the kitchen. The kitchen felt very open, which is something that we're looking for. That's also something that he really wants. I feel like we cook a lot, like as a couple, so that's pretty important to us. Loved that the kitchen was separated. There was like a wall in between the kitchen and the living room space, which was very nice. They also had this kind of sunroom thing going on. It looks like originally maybe it could have been like a living room and like a wall was put up, or it was like this the whole time, but that was really cute. But I think the only thing about it was that sunroom was kind of where the most light was, and then when you go into the living room, it's quite dark. Like, you can see that the light is on in the living room and it's still quite dark. And me personally, I don't even count artificial lighting. Like, I need to see how much lighting the living room has without lights. I'm such a weird house hunter. I was going through like flicking lights off, trying to see like what the natural light was giving. And that's funny because normally they turn them all on so everybody can see like a bright space. And I'm sitting there like click, 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 click. Let's see what you're really talking about. I did find the bathroom wasn't really sufficient for what we were looking for. We are cool with going in and doing some upgrades, but I think we don't want to do a whole bunch of upgrades with where we're at in life. We both have only ever rented, and trust me, originally I was like, I'm gonna go find a fixer-upper, because I know like that's how you can get everything that you want. You find a house with good bones and then you go fix her up. And then I had to take a reality check, like as we were going through these houses. I was like, I've never even decorated a full house, let alone knock down walls, ripped out showers. I don't think we're there yet. So If there's a little work that needs to be done, that's cool, but I think right now we're at a point where we don't want a huge fixer-upper because we want the experience of at least owning a home and keeping one up and decorating it, you know? And the room that would have been considered his room would have been way too close to my office, which means y'all would hear him all the time, and you don't want to hear him, okay? We don't need to hear that man on Twitch, all right? Now, I will say I did love the backyard. It felt very open, but at the same time, it didn't have too much grass. But the thing about this one, he kind of pointed out to me, like the area up on the hill, he was like, that's gonna be a lot of work. Like, we gotta do something about that because he's very not into snakes roaming around, which obviously, why would we want that? So it just seemed like it was going to be a lot of upkeep, but it definitely has a lot of potential for, you know, somebody who's willing to put in that work into it. So then we kept going, okay? I was noticing like, okay, we are going down some country roads. We are in the backwoods, and honestly, I love that so much. Like, I don't know, I just feel like I can breathe better when I'm out there. But again, I'm not sure if we're looking for that for our first home exactly. For the second house, this was also a single family home. One thing that I noticed as soon as we walked in was obviously the living room space. It had humongous windows, but when you first come in, there's also a really cute dining room. I was loving the molding that we saw in a lot of the dining rooms, but the living room, she really just got me. I don't know what it is about a high ceiling with windows going all the way up, but I love it a lot. It also had a fireplace, which I haven't verbally said this to him, but it's kind of a requirement for me. I'm not gonna lie. I've been looking at all the houses when we're looking through Zillow, and I'm like, this one doesn't have a fireplace. I aspire to have a fireplace so badly. I mean, you know, literally right in front of me, I have my mantle fireplace. There's no fire to be had underneath it. It's just for the look. But I also want to experience the warmth of a fire, you know, like during Christmas and cozy season. You know, I'm all about that. So I really can't go without it. The kitchen was good and open, nothing spectacular going on there, but that's okay. When we walked to the backyard was actually a little bigger than I thought it would be, which it's not big at all, but just from the pictures, it looked like it could have been smaller. So I felt like I could work with that yard. It's definitely more than I have now. Eventually, would I want to upgrade from that? Yes, for sure. Now, I think this house had been empty for a long time. So one thing we were noticing that I just cannot get down with, we saw a little friend, okay? There was a little friend in the downstairs half bathroom. I was shook. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it was a big side eye. I was like, if we choose this one, we gotta get a good exterminator because I don't do roaches. I don't do them. I can barely say it. It gives me, bleh, I don't like it. In the history of all of that, like ever since childhood, I've only ever found one of those in our house. And that's the way I want to keep it, okay? The bedrooms we felt like were sufficient. I really want to take one bedroom and make it a whole entire closet if I can. A closet, like I'll probably work in there, but it'll also be my closet. And so the lighting is very important. And I felt like these two bedrooms had like sufficient lighting, like one for him, one for me. And then the bathroom also, it was very bare bones, but what I loved about it, it had a bathtub, number one. That's another thing that I've wanted for a really long time that I haven't had. And it had two big windows over the bathtub, which was really, really nice. Also on this one, the neighborhood just seemed really nice. That's something we also really want. We want something very quiet. Everybody's very chill. We're kind of old people like in our head, so we don't want like a loud street. We don't want a street where people aren't taking care of their yard, like things like that. We try to stay away from. So we actually were talking to the next door neighbor, getting to know him a little bit. He was so nice. So that was definitely a perk of this house. Now we went to house number 3 and I was automatically like, I'm sitting here looking around like, are we in the right place? And it was just because, you know that vibe when you watch Home Alone and you see the neighborhood and you're like, I was like, it's giving money in here. I was like, should I be here? Am I allowed? Have I made it to this point yet? This house was in our budget. It was very beautiful. It was really big. I think our realtor found this one for us. When we first walked in, again, we're seeing like the cute dining room. I wasn't obsessed with the fact that there was carpet kind of in more places than I'd like. I feel like I can bear carpet being in the upstairs, like in the bedrooms and things. It's not my preference, but I can bear it. But then when I see it in the dining room, like downstairs and in the living room, I'm like, I don't know, it's just not ideal for me. The kitchen was nice. It had an extra like dining room area with lots of windows, so it gave good lighting. And again, we've got those high ceilings with the big windows, which you know I love. So after that, we went upstairs to go check out the rooms. One thing I really loved about this house is it was giving me a little bit more character. I could see over this ledge and like how the foyer looked when you first come in, and the window above it was so cute. Like I went crazy over that. I love that so much. And I will say that's kind of a hard thing to find with townhomes. The bedrooms were really good size. They were pretty big and also had great big windows. Bathrooms were pretty bare bones for the most part, but the primary bedroom, I walked in and I was like, oh, nice size. I turned around the corner and I was like, oh, there's more. Like this bedroom was like 2 bedrooms. I was looking at this and I was like, I can literally make this my closet and my bedroom. One side, I put the closet stuff in, maybe I curtain it so we don't have to look at my clothes all the time, or maybe I just keep it looking really nice. I don't know how likely that is, but you know, we walked into the bathroom and again, we've got the bathtub with the window over it. I think that's kind of another thing I really, really want. And then he walked into the closet. He was like, you're gonna love this closet. And I walk in and I'm just like, it's looking like a closet. But then I kept going, and around the corner there was a window into the closet. I know there's like a thing that people say like you don't want to have a window in your closet because it can mess up your clothes and things like that, but I don't know, I felt like it was far away enough. And also I don't really wear colorful clothes, so there's not much that could be discolored, but that, you know, we can put a curtain up, you know. But I loved that a lot. It was a nice closet. Now the backyard on this house was an absolute gem. But as you can see, there was a lot of grass. But you know, I was obsessed with it. There was a little fire pit. It was so cute. And then when you kept walking to the back, there was a little shed, which I just love the idea. I've been on Instagram too much, okay? I love the idea of having a shed and like doing like my gardening inside of it, maybe putting some windows in it to make it more airy, but also like putting like a bookshelf in there and like a sitting chair. I might be getting a little ahead of myself with that, but I just seen it on Instagram and I'm like, that's so cool. I was imagining like building some sort of path back there to like just go dilly-dallying back to my little shed. Gorgeous neighborhood. So after that, we headed to house number 3 and I felt like, okay, this is giving the last house, but a ton of character. Like all the character I would want was inside of this house. Starting at the front door, literally, I wasn't really even recording front entrances or things like that because I felt like they were pretty redundant. Like you've seen one, you've seen them all. She was too cute not to show it. As soon as I walked in, I zeroed in on this little window that was in the kitchen over the sink. I could just see the trees through it. It wasn't bringing in a ton of light, but like just enough for me to like imagine me washing the dishes and looking out the windows. To be honest, I don't hand wash dishes, but that window might make me a little more inclined. This was just an absolutely gorgeous house. You could tell it was really old, which I personally love because I feel like houses, they just don't make them the way they used to make them anymore. This house had so much character. The foyer was to absolutely die for. I felt like the living room wasn't very spectacular, but honestly, it didn't matter because the sunroom. And I don't know if this is technically considered a sunroom, but if it's on the edge of the house and it has like windows all around almost, minus where the fireplace is, I'm considering that a sunroom, especially because it was getting more light than what I assume would have been considered the living space area. This room, I was absolutely obsessed with. I would 100% choose this room as like my office space. I've always wanted an office that has like a fireplace and I could put like very vintage things and kind of just feel like, you know, the guy at the desk and he turns around in the velvet chair and he's got like a pipe. Those type of vibes. I don't know why, but when I think of like my ultimate office, it's like that. Very cozy and like kind of regal, and this sunroom was giving exactly that. So we made our way upstairs. The upstairs space, I felt like it was a good amount of space, but it did lack a little bit of light. It wasn't awful though, but the one place that did not lack light Oh my goodness. And the primary bathroom was insane. I don't even think I knew that this bathroom looked like this. Of course, we had seen like kind of to a certain extent online what these houses looked like, but a lot of these houses looked far better in person than these pictures that we had been shown. When we walked in, there was of course the bathtub next to the window that I love, but tell me why I did not know that this bathroom had a skylight. That was not on my bingo card. The skylight was bringing in amazing light. This was the brightest room in the house by far, and it was so beautiful. I think the only major drawback about this house really was kind of the lighting upstairs. Like I said, where I would need to film at, I would need a lot of lighting. The room with the most lighting was kind of this attic looking space, which I probably would choose as where I film and like put my closet pieces, and it had like maybe enough light, but it was kind of The house just seemed like it would take a lot of work. Like it will require somebody who really could put the time and the years into it, like maybe somebody looking for like their final home, or they know they're going to be there like for at least a decade. And if the inside space was not enough, I had already clocked this when we were pulling up, this darling little picket fence gate that led to the backyard. I wanted to go through that first, but my man was like, let's go through the house first and then we'll go outside. And I was like, fine. When we went back, they had this gorgeous little path. You just walk back there. We also noticed it looked like maybe they used to, or a past owner used to own some chickens, because it looked like they had this little chicken coop in the corner. It would take little old me a really long time to work on this backyard. Like, we know I want a garden, obviously, and I want to build on it, but this would have been a lot for me. But it was really nice to look at, because I'm like, this looks kind of more like how I want more my in-game house to be, only with way more yard. My in-game house I need land, honey. So I don't want to spend too much time on this last house, because I could automatically tell like it was really pretty, but I wasn't sure it was going to work for me. When you first walk in, I loved the living room space area. Obviously, we see these built-ins and we see this fireplace and we see these wood floors and we think, yeah, Jhordan will love this. And I did. The lighting was great. Living room was perfect. The kitchen, I didn't have too many complaints on that. I think my main complaints for the rest of the house was the fact that I wouldn't have had a backyard. I wanted to go and see it just to see if, you know, maybe the patios just got really good lighting, because one thing they didn't have a backyard, but they had 2 patios. But on the downside, both patios were quite dark. So if I wanted to grow like plants and produce and things like that, it would have been a little hard for a lot of things that I'm growing now on my apartment balcony. And so I didn't love that. When we went upstairs, the rooms, they were good sized, very big, but they just were quite dark, except for the primary bedroom. The primary bedroom had great lighting, but the rooms that I would have like tried to film in and like had as my office, those were the rooms that did not have like any lighting at all. It was very dark. In the bathroom, I wasn't mad at the bathroom, but I would again like some natural lighting in the bathroom. It didn't have too many things that would need work done, like a little touch of something. Obviously there's no decoration in here right now, but yeah, I don't know about like the lighting situation. I feel like that could really affect some things. And again, that no yard, that patio, I don't know. So those are the houses that we went to go see. I'm definitely gonna try my best to keep you guys updated, because I know people on Instagram have asked like, hey, can you share it? So I'm trying my best to share it. I think you guys are actually seeing more of it in this one than Instagram did, just because I have more time here, but I probably will be more consistent over there with the home searching process. Let me know what your favorite was. I don't know, we're gonna go see some more, hopefully this weekend. But yeah, I felt like that was a really good first go out and see. I felt like we learned what we were really looking for, learned what we really wanted, and maybe what was too much for us. So I felt like it was pretty productive.
Good morning, or I should say afternoon, because it is afternoon. It just feels like morning to me. I just got out of the bed maybe 45 minutes, an hour ago. It's Sunday, so that's kind of always my Sunday vibe, to be honest. Either Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to sleep in majorly, but most of the time I'm not sleeping till the afternoon. I'm probably just in my bed. But we've been spending the morning looking at houses on like the apps and stuff like that, because finding my perfect house is interesting, and I have found some that I really like, but you know, there's different circumstances with like prices or backyard, the details, property taxes, things like that. Like, whew, we're taking a break from that because we're both really, really hungry. My boyfriend was literally like, I'm hungry. So we're gonna go see if we can catch a quick little brunch, and we might go to the park because honestly I need some vitamin D. I have not been on the vlog a lot. This week has just it's really been a week. I'm going through like some management changes, and work has been really kind of rough, to be honest. It's not always like this, but just for some reason this week, I don't know what's been in the water. It's been a little crazy, so I need some time to touch some grass. Mind you, I didn't feel like doing any makeup today. I usually just do not do my makeup on Sundays. So I was like, you know what? If I put on a cute outfit, maybe nobody will notice that my hair looks raggedy. So this is what I'm going to be wearing. I'm gonna wear some flip-flops because you know this is a shoeless household. Sometimes I show you shoes, but I'm standing on the carpet right now, so I don't want to do that. But wearing this little halter top that Cotton sent me the other day. It's like this red wine color. It's really pretty. I picked it out because I feel like I don't have any tops like this. I mean, it's really basic, but I really enjoy this color. So I'm glad I got this because I think this is like my only thing that I have in this color. It looks good. White linen pants because you know these are my absolute go-to when I want to be like really cute but also really comfortable and relaxed. I have my vintage silver earrings that I wear all the time. My jewelry's kind of like always the same. And then my little brown woven bag that I wear all the time. Bringing a new book with me today. I did like this big thrift books order because I like to go on there and get like secondhand books. And so we're going to do this one, Find Me by Andre Ackerman. He wrote Call Me By Your Name, which I read about 3 years ago over the summer. It is one of the most beautiful books and one of the most gorgeous movies. It has Timothy Chalamet in it, and it's very much like Italian coast living. If you like to watch the movies, it's a gorgeous movie, very vibey. Like it feels like something not of this time, and I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to make it feel like very 80s, 90s, and they actually accomplished that. I love that movie. So after I read this is the sequel to Call Me By Your Name. Definitely gonna watch Call Me By Your Name again. We've been dealing with rain absolutely non-stop, and I really just don't even know how to deal with it anymore. I feel like that's all I've been doing on this channel is talking about how much it rains, but it's actually insane. Like, is it raining a lot where you are right now? Because I think it rained all last week. It's raining all this week. I think it says it's not going to let up until I think like mid next week or something like that. It's really insane. Like, this is the most rain I've ever seen in my life. Usually I would say like I love the rain, like it gives me cozy vibes, and I feel like, I don't know, like it's giving hoa hoa weather. You know what I mean. Now I'm at a point where it's actually making me tired. Like, I've been dragging all day today. I'm like, why am I dragging? I like checked my period calendar and I've got a little minute before that. I was like, that is not why. And I think it's just like how roomy it's been. I think my vitamin D levels are probably kind of low because I haven't been able to go outside. Like, I wouldn't say it's cold, but like it's wet and like 60s at best.
early 70s, so it's not very comfortable to be outside. And you know, like, I like to be outside all the time, so I definitely think my vitamin D levels are low. I actually celebrated my 28th birthday this past weekend, so your girl is 28 now. Woo! Well into the late 20s. A lot of things have been going on. A lot of things. Obviously, from this video, I announced that we are getting a house. So we actually, I want to give you a little update. We are further along in this process. I'm not going to say too much because I have, I think, another house hunting video coming out hopefully this weekend. This process has just been, it's been more than I thought it would be, honestly. I thought it was just gonna be like very fun HGTV vibes, going around looking at houses, and it's like, I want that one. But it just actually has not been that simple. We have looked at, I want to say, over 20 houses, which I feel like is a lot, especially like in this market. It's technically like a buyer's market right now, so it's not like it's a very competitive market or anything, but I guess I'm just really that picky. Also, you know, budgets. You know, if money was no issue, of course, there's a million houses I like, you know, but I gotta find something in my budget that works. It's been very fun. I've been trying my best to share it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little interesting sharing it, and that's kind of part of the reason why I almost didn't want to talk about it at all. I kind of just wanted to pop out like, I bought a house, you know, not share the process or anything, because I have been getting like a little feedback that I did not ask for on social media. Not over here. It's been on Instagram because I shared it over there first. So yeah, I guess you could say I quickly started to realize why people don't share this process. I was looking for the content myself when I was like, okay, I want to find a house. I started looking for like house hunting content, and there was just not a lot of content about it. And number one, it's probably because, you know, people don't want too much detail about the house that they do pick. Completely understand that. I, for one, am going to be very particular about how I share the house that I pick. If you're in a situation like me, you're not really living like a very traditional lifestyle, there's a lot of feedback, unwarranted like tips and advice on like my relationship status and going into a home. I usually don't talk about things like this just because I like to keep it very high vibes over here, very like just trying to enjoy life. I don't like to get into negative aspects of things over on this channel, especially anymore. I feel like I used to dive into it more, but now I feel like we have so much of that content nowadays, like almost in a clickbaity way. I don't even want to contribute. Like, I just want to give good vibes. But, you know, this channel is about my life. So to be a little more transparent, yeah, obviously I'm not going about this the traditional way. I literally am getting a house with my partner before we're getting married. I know that's crazy. I know. But it's just what we found that worked best for us. Coming to a close on both of our leases, and we've just spent so much money on rent, and we know like that's a plan for us down the road, is to become a united pair. We would actually do it now, but the reason why we decided to go with this first is because one of us does want a wedding. Weddings can be very expensive, and I, for one, I personally am just a fan of putting my money first where it's more important to me. Now, I know you can get married and like, you know, not tell anybody and then just have a wedding like way down the road, but we just kind of agreed that we really want to do it, you know, how people normally do, like they get engaged and then in a few months to a year or whatever, they have a wedding and stuff. I know me, I'm the type of person, if I get married right now, I don't tell anybody, and people are expecting me to have a wedding like next year or like the year after that, I'm gonna be like, why? So yeah, it just made the most sense to us financially, so we didn't have to put any more money into even an apartment together, because we just spent so much money individually in apartments. So really, at the end of the day, it's been a business move, and I share this, you know, not for the trolls, but I share this for people who maybe just think they are not in a place right now to get a home. And I'm definitely not trying to convince anyone, I'm just trying to share like my side of things. Generational wealth is just something we're trying to build. Neither one of us comes from it, so it has to start somewhere. And so yeah, we just wanted to make that like the first thing that we focus on, because things like rings and weddings are so expensive. I think I talked about this, or I hinted at it. I was considering getting like a new car at the beginning of the year, but then when we started talking about this, I was like, I shut down all things like financial, like big purchases. Definitely could have comfortably gotten a car, but I just felt like a car was not more important than me having a home. And I honestly just feel like a ring in a wedding is not more important than me having like my own home for my future children to be able to benefit from like down the road. So yeah, we just felt like it was the most financially responsible and important step for us, because that all is in the future for us. People who are dating, they split up. People who are married also split up. But the thing is, the way that we're doing it, both of our names are going to be on the house. So let's say that something happened, and he's going to see this. He doesn't like when I talk about things like this. But let's say that something was to happen. At the end of the day, like, it's still a business expense. Half and half is still going to where it needs to go. You know, I just feel like buying property is not something you can only do with like a spouse. I mean, people buy property all the time with like strangers. You know, when you buy like a business, you buy a property with like a co-owner. I want to share for the people who are maybe interested in going this route, not necessarily like my relationship status or anything like that, but just like literally buying a home. I will be sharing more as far as my mental health permits. I just share that to say, number one, this process has been more than just looking at pretty houses. I knew it was going to be more than that, but honestly I just didn't put too much thought into it. But yeah, so many things to read, so many contracts. It takes a lot out of your day, your time, but it's getting to the point we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, so that's really good. Number two, I'm fully aware of the different outcomes that can come out of, you know, making big decisions like this. I mean, I think any big decision is going to have its pros and cons. You know, I was talking to my family about this, and I just feel like there are people who definitely, like, even if you don't know them, they want your best interest. Because I see people I don't know, and I'm like, I want you to succeed. Like, they share like their life or something like that, and I'm like, anytime something good happens to them, I'm like, yes. So people could say, you know, oh well, I'm saying this to you because I want to help. Like, I don't want you to make this mistake. But also, especially the fact that this drama has been occurring on Instagram, I feel like if somebody had my best interests in their heart, they would DM me. I don't know, I just hate when people say things like that in people's comments, and they just say something like very like, well, but I'm just trying to help you. Like, even though you're on this really exciting, happy journey, such a groundbreaking moment for like two young people, I'm here to spoil this moment just because, you know, I want the best for you. I feel like if you wanted the best for me, you could have DM'd me. It personally just feels like, to me, these people who comment things like that, they just want everybody to see, like, look at the mistake she's making. Does anybody agree with me? Like, let me get some likes. Let me hear some claps. Let me hear some replies. That's what it feels like to me. I just know if I had somebody who I cared about, I wouldn't comment on their Facebook and be like, girl, I'm just trying to tell you that I want the best for you. No, personally, I'm not hitting anybody up on topics like this that I don't know, because I'm assuming for the most part you have like some sort of family and friends who could tell you the same thing, because I surely do. I would never try to comment and like embarrass them or like publicly say things like that, because it's such a personal matter, those topics like that, you know. I don't know if it's clear. I think it is pretty clear, because I kind of asked my friends and family, like, we've seen my partner on here and we sort of know who he is, but I'm kind of on the private side as far as my relationship goes, just because I care about it so deeply. It's like I see everybody talk about, you know, being authentic. Authenticity is key. Like, let me see your life, be real and stuff like that. Like, people don't want to be authentic and people don't want to be real because there's people like dragging them for it, dragging them for being human, dragging them for the decisions that they're making with their own life that don't affect anybody else. Like, that's why people don't want to take people on their journey. When I think about like a group where I consider these people my associates, and that's associates, like I see them on a weekly basis, but I wouldn't say like we're friends. I wouldn't say we know each other well, like definitely not on a personal level, just like, you know, friendly hello. It's the people in my ballet class. I see them every week, but I don't know them like that, you know. But let's just say one of them came up to me and we were talking. I'm like, yeah, you know, how's life going, girl? And I'm like, oh girl, like, me and my boyfriend are buying a house. The only correct answer, personally to me, as an associate, because that's all I am to them, the only correct answer on something that big and honestly exciting that they're clearly really excited about is congratulations. You know, I just feel like if I did disagree with something like that, as an associate, mind you, I know them, but I don't know them that well. I think it would be the place of their friendships and their family members to, you know, have a heart to heart with them. It's not my time to break in on like their happy moment and be like, that's not a very wise decision. I don't think you should do that. Like, imagine one of those sweet women from ballet came up to me and told me that, and I was just like, mm-mm, honey, wrong choice. Like, she's probably never talking to me again. I just kind of wanted to share where my head is at right now with that. I am really excited, but also like apprehensive about sharing right now. It's kind of hard to organize my thoughts and exactly what I want to say on this, but I just thought I would share. It's tough out here, y'all. It's tough. Because I feel like for the most part, except for give or take maybe a few new people, we're very chill over here. We just don't do that. Like, we're just all about, you know, the good vibes. Just no drama. My page is just literally so chill, and everybody here, like, you guys are just so chill. I was just like, what? Girl, what are you doing here, baby? This is not Love Island. That's basically how I was like, oh, girl, we don't do that over here. Yeah, no. So yeah, I don't know if any of that rant made sense. I just feel like I just been spilling out my little guts. It was long-winded, but I just need to share. But anyways, there will be another house hunting vlog this upcoming weekend. I filmed it differently. I didn't film it the way where like I did it on my phone and then came here and talked about it. I tried to do it in real time. The first time, I don't know why I did it that way. And I hope you didn't mind. But I think I just really wanted to be able to like focus, and like I didn't know what to expect, so I was like, I need to be able to focus. So I shot it in a way like where I could go back and look at the footage, and then I could also come back and talk to you guys about it. But this time I realized that it just wasn't that deep, and I went in and actually filmed real time. So yeah, that will be how that's filmed next week, along with some other things in the vlog. But I don't know where that random British accent came from. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out because this has been way too long already. But I appreciate the people that even watched to this end. Thank you so much. I will see you in next week's video. Bye bye.